Okay, Chad, here we are, Carlson Ice-Arena in Loves Park, Greater Rockford, Illinois. I want to know what it means to be the president of Carlson Encheff Development Group. Go ahead and share with us.
Well, you know, growing up in the Greater Rockford area as a kid, it's hard-pressed not to know some of the, the Carlson family or the Carlson background. I mean, it's hard not to drive down the road and not see a Carlson sign. I mean, Carlson Ice-Arena, Carlson Boys Club we were at yesterday, Carlson Chapel and Carlson School. And as a kid growing up during Kurt's hostage situation, you heard a lot about that. Bunny Carlos, Brad Carlos, Cheap Trick, Cheap Trick, the big thing to come out of Rockford. They were a little bit before my time, but my mom was a huge fan, and now the songs resonate with me as I've gotten older. But it's really, there's somebody but more importantly, when I got into development, first started working for my father-in-law in construction and development, and kind of started at the ground. Was driving a semi-truck, hauling lulls around and bobcats and grain or whatever needed to be done. Right. Sometimes with walls, cleaning up job sites, but
it was a great opportunity, Dan.
It was. I got in there at the ground floor, and I worked the fryers, as they say, and but it was really. I made a point that I get in early so I get my work done during the day that I had to do trucking or whatever we were doing for the day or cleaning job sites up. I made it a point to get into the office in the afternoon or in the evening, because in the evening is when my father-in-law would be working with the homeowners, and they were big into doing custom homes and retirement homes, and so those are usually when they were talking about designs. And I picked up a big interest in sitting down in the beginning of a project with somebody, and they're looking at a lot that they like on the golf course that we have they want to buy, and then they start kind of sketching out on paper all of the ideas of their dream home. And we were building for doctors and lawyers, and this was, sometimes their second or third go-around in building a home, and they were putting in all these different elements, that they liked and that they had thought of or they didn't like in the last time that they built something. And so it was a really cool experience to get to do that. And working with my father-in-law's company, and then from there moving on to working as a vice president for Century 21 and Mansfield Development. Both local development companies, you were very aware of who the Carlsons are. They were big into commercial construction. When I was doing the residential side, they were developing a 600-acre commercial plat, which is Riverside and Perryville. It's where we're sitting today, actually. And so you were very aware of what they were doing and what was going on. At that time, I had a goal of wanting to get into building large commercial projects and skyscrapers and things of that nature. And as I mentioned yesterday, I first met Kurt when I was about 7 years old. So to fast forward 30 years and the prestige of the Carlson family, and being the oldest development company in the state, probably 125 years this year, it's a huge honor. It really is. Sometimes you wake up and you say, how did I get here? Is this real? And it's just, it makes you, being the Carlsons who they are, Ed Carlson and Kurt Carlson, you want to take the Carlson Companies and you want to make them proud. You're building, and the first one to sit in this seat who's doesn't have the last name of Carlson. Right. I want to do it more for them than I do for me. Sure. I want to do it for their grandkids, and Kurt just had his first granddaughter. She's getting ready. She's going to be 2 pretty soon, and sure. And I've always wanted to. Usually, I'm wanting to build for my kids. But now at the end of the day and the end of the week, when we get done with our call, and I tell Kurt, okay, this is what we got going, this is what we're doing, and sure. I hear, man, you're doing a great job. I don't know how you do it all, and that's what I do it for at the end of the week. Is just sometimes just their approval, because right. They've done it. They've been through the ups and downs of the market for 125 years. They've seen the Great Depression. I mean, they've really seen it all, and they've managed to stay in business, and a lot of people couldn't do that. And so being able to one right now control the company and put sure. it in a new direction with new generations, but still using the expertise of their failures at some points and their successes to make sure that we make it another 125 years. But it's definitely a great honor to sit in this seat.
You definitely have a a powerful and inspiring legacy to build upon.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, excellent. And in talking about, Carlson Encheff, Development Group, obviously there's been impressive, tremendous projects in past years, past decades associated with this company, but what about current projects? What about 2015 and the here and now? What do you got, on tap?
I came to the company about 3 years ago, and I was at that time, I guess it was 2012, and at that time I was working on some of my own projects, and I had done with some companies that I'd been with in the past. I'd done some really neat projects, anywhere from building those custom houses we were talking to building Walmarts. We'd done some stuff out in Vegas. So I had done some nice, impressive projects, had been involved in a little bit of everything, and then ran into Kurt, and Kurt and I started talking, and it was clear he wanted to take a direction. The company was wanting to move towards the assisted living side of things at that point, and the hospitality. They had done hotel stuff in the past, but they were really wanting to make a huge step into that. And at this time, the timing really worked out, because over the last year there's became a hospitality boom, if you'd say, and so a lot of Hilton, Carlson hotels, the Holiday Inn, they're all coming out with these low service brands. So you see like 10 different new brands, but they're all owned by the three major players. But they're all coming out with these new low service brands. It's kind of the big thing right now, and we got involved in it about a year before it exploded. So we really were there, right place, right time. I'm guessing Kurt saw the vision of where things were going to be headed in that, and so what we did was about 3 years ago when I started with the company, we started laying groundwork with different municipalities, getting different studies done to see where the best places would be to do the hotels. Started with 1 hotel and 2 hotel and 3 hotel, and we about 2 weeks ago we're at the Twin Towers, the Carlson Residor headquarters in Minneapolis, and there we got a deal done to do 14 hotels over the next 4 years.
Okay.
We'll be doing that. Will be Country Inn and Suites, which they have a new Gen 4 model, Generation 4.
Sure.
It's a very high-end, low-service hotel. But it's designed a lot more like a Radisson, honestly, than the Country Inn. You remember the old Country Inns had the front porch and that kind of thing, and these are designed a little bit more contemporary, but they're also designed to last. They are using a lot of different travertine products and stuff that marble and stuff that's going to be around for a long time.
Okay.
And so we're using that stuff with the Country Inn. They also unveiled to us. They have the Radisson brand. And the Radisson has what's called Radisson. They have what's called Radisson Blue. There's very few of the Radisson Blues right now, but the Radisson Blue is like a full-service JW Marriott, very, very high-end, just amazing. Hardwood floors, very 5-star restaurants. I mean, just beautiful hotels. And then one of the things that they are doing that they haven't built at all is called Radisson Red. And the Radisson Red is utilizing a lot of new things that I had been thinking about over the last couple of years that I thought would be, great for hotels and kind of the direction in which hotels were going, in taking out the front desk. Okay. And you're able to check in from your phone, and you can use your phone as your key. But they'll also have people that aren't, the smartphone savvy. There's still a couple people. My dad still uses a flip phone. He finally got rid of the bag phone, but he's got the flip phone. But that they can't use that. So you still have the employees in the lobby with the iPads, and then they're able to check in and and still do that stuff. But the real idea of it is with the Radisson Red, which I love, is that it used to be boxed in. You had a valet that would check your car, or like at a Radisson Blue, you go in, the valet checks your car, you go up to the desk, they check you in, you get your key, the bag boy takes your keys, you go up there. Everybody has kind of a one set service. If you need to talk to somebody, they'll call somebody to get you somebody else. Well, the Radisson Red, every employee is trained in every aspect, so it doesn't matter. Whoever you walk up to that's wearing a Radisson Red shirt, they can park your car, they can carry your bags, they can get you something to drink, they can get you coffee, they can help check you in. So it's really a great concept. It also is taking the rooms and making them a little bit smaller, and making the meeting or the common areas a lot larger. And the idea is to get guys like you and I out into the main areas, networking. Networking is a big part of the Radisson Red. And so in the new 14 hotels that we've agreed to build, and I'm sure that number will keep rising. We might do 25 in the next 4 years, but we've pinpointed to this point 14 that we want to do. Some of those are going to include the new Country Inn Gen 4. One of them is going to be in Canton, Texas. We break ground on that July 6th. We're looking at doing a Radisson Red, which would be the first one in the U.S. We're looking at doing that in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is where Wake Forest University is. Every Carlson since the beginning of time has went to Wake Forest University, so we're looking at doing that there.
It's a genetic connection.
It's a genetic connection. And then we're looking at doing a Radisson Blue, the very high end, in Austin, Texas, which, UT Longhorns. I'm hoping my oldest son will be playing football here soon. But we're looking at doing, Radisson Blue there. And so we kind of, want to explore all of their brands. We want to be the first company to build when they come out with a new brand. And we also, we're in the hotel business. We do own hotels. We do design. We develop. We can offer, A to Z, everything for somebody.
Even management?
We have our management company with Frontera Hotel Group that can manage them. But we've kind of gotten into this area of where we're big hotel owners as well. So we're building these to own ourselves. And what I see for the future is not only that we'll still be doing that, but I also want to be the go-to one-stop shop company for anybody that wants a hotel, especially a Carlson brand hotel. So, if John Phillips wants to come in and he buys a franchise for a Radisson or a Country Inn, and he wants to put it out in Montana, instead of having to go around and find the designer and find the construction company and find the management company, we're right here, and we can do everything. We can help you get it financed. Help you get equity partners. We're here to do everything. Feasibility studies. So, I think really what we are becoming is, not just to ourselves, but what we're becoming for everybody out there that wants to build a hotel, a Carlson brand hotel, is, the go-to guys. And we can take care of everything and make your life a lot simpler. And because of that, our fee structure is a lot lower. A lot of companies have to make all of their money on feasibility studies, so they're going to charge you $35,000 to do a feasibility study. And where we're doing a feasibility study because we want to make sure your hotel's successful in the right place, where there's good contractors, there's a good municipality to work with that's going to help you, and that we have to succeed and manage the hotel as well. We have to make sure you're making money at the end of the day. And so we're not going to push you towards a hotel that that we don't think would be good for you.
You have a vested interest, as well as just from professional integrity, to ensure that your clients are set up to be successful.
Yes, it's McDonald's is probably the best at it. How often do you see a McDonald's open and close?
Very often.
You never do. They have a vested interest in making sure that doesn't happen. I've never seen one open and close. I've seen some other chains that have opened and been open a month and closed. And we're talking national chains, and we're kind of we have that same McDonald's vision where we're going to make sure that you're set up to be successful. We're not going to gouge you in the pricing. We're going to make sure we talked about a feasibility study costing $35,000. Our cost would be about $5,000. We're going to charge you $5,000 because that feasibility study is just as much for us as it is for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it really is the case that Carlson Encheff is a one-stop shop.
Oh, absolutely.
And so from from moving the earth to moving somebody in to managing the new facility, you can take care of it all.
Oh, we absolutely.
Depending upon the needs of the client.
Yeah, we absolutely.